Welcome to our speakers and to our distinguished guests. We are hosting this WBAF event during the World Economic Forum Week to celebrate and highlight a key role that women play in attending not only the Davos week, but contributing to the Davos 2024 agenda, as well as their vital contributions to accomplishing our mission at the World Business Angel Investment Forum. Our speakers today are joining us live from Davos, as well as from all over the world, and we're looking forward to hear their important updates about vital discussions at Davos and how they're supporting the mission from their virtual settings. As we have witnessed, the Davos agenda prominently featured AI and quantum. Therefore, I wanted to take a brief moment to underscore the remarkable achievements of women in deep tech and hope that our meeting today will serve as a call to action for more women to join us in building a responsible, inclusive, and diverse deep tech ecosystem. We wish to recognize the contributions women have across the full spectrum of the deep tech ecosystem. That includes investing in deep tech, founding new deep tech companies, driving innovations that have the potential to shape our future, being deep tech academicians or deep tech diplomats. As you will hear from all the speakers today, their contributions go beyond ideas and concepts. They're all involved in actively reshaping business and entrepreneurship around the world. Please allow me now to introduce our keynote opening speaker, Dr. Anino Emuva, who is also the founder of 100 Davos Women. Thank you for joining us.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, or depending on where you are dialing in from, I'm really delighted to be here with you. Just a quick sound check. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, perfect.
Great. It really is a great honor to be dialing into this meeting, and I think it's fantastic because it gives the opportunity for those of us who are not in Davos to participate in what's happening here. Davos shouldn't be something that is just for those who are here. The impact and the implications concern us all around the world. And it's really been an exciting and very tiring week here at Davos. But just to put that into context of 100 Women at Davos, which is what Dr. Ingrid, thank you for inviting me, has asked me to speak about. But I think the importance of it is not just the network itself, but what it represents and why we're doing it and what is the impact of what it is we're doing. I had the opportunity to attend the World Economic Forum in 2017 for the first time. And my background is in economics. I studied economics at the London School of Economics. And all those decades ago, and I shan't tell you how many years ago, all those decades ago, I heard about the World Economic Forum. And I actually felt quite concerned that this was a forum at the time which was full of business people and top people, mainly in the advanced countries, who are making decisions that would have repercussions for people around the world, including a country like mine, which is Nigeria in a developing country. And to now fast forward decades and to actually find that I was invited. Now, if you've come from that background where you've heard about it, and then you find yourself extremely privileged to be there, the last thing you expect is to go and be silent, right? Or at least not have an impact. And my first experience of this absolutely amazing forum of world leaders discussing all the issues that concern each and every one of us, issues of impact, was that I felt that I was not very visible. And for a woman that is my height, for those of you who have met me, who comes from Africa, who has braids down to her back, I'm not exactly invisible. But it was a sense in terms of participants that, obviously, if you didn't, to me, if you didn't fit the mold, then you couldn't have anything interesting to say. However, the panels were so interesting and the world leaders that were on those panels, the access was incredible. I had the opportunity, just myself, to walk up to a president, to walk up to a head of state, to walk up to a leader of the biggest economies, or sorry, biggest companies in the world, and introduce myself to them. Usually him. There were some hers as well, and to be able to strike a conversation and to talk about things that concerned me, and for them to respond. And I thought to myself, I don't want to be the only one doing this. Where are all the other women, in the world, and why are they not here? That, of course, we totally understand that the percentage of women in leadership is very small, and that is why I work as with 100 Women at Davos, or wider still, the consulting work has to do with advancing gender equality in leadership. But I still felt that representation was key and important, and having, more women who are there. Because whatever it is that we do in all the places that we do our things, the reality is that very often we are takers, takers in the sense that whatever has been decided, we are now having to deal with it. And when we look at the things that concern us, when we look at, the issues that we feel that we have contributions to make, and those haven't been taken into consideration, then we have to say that maybe the issue is that we are not there, we're not present, and we need to be there, we need to be present. And that's what led me after my second time, I think, at the World Economic Forum, to create this group of women, because I felt that women's impact would be more. If I wasn't seeing the women, but they were there, they were few, but we needed to make an impact. We needed our voices to be heard. Otherwise, what are we doing there? Are we just idle watchers of what's happening? And so I thought, let's create a group. And it was an informal group I created. And I reached out to women and they responded. And we started off with being women in WEF. And then other people told us, but there are other women who are actually at Davos who are not actually at the World Economic Forum. And then I discovered this whole world or ecosystem surrounding the World Economic Forum. But I tell you, ladies, what then happened was somebody reached out to me, and this is why it's so important in when we see what others are doing, that we actually offer a hand, even if it's not asked. Somebody reached out to me. This was second year. I didn't ask. And what she said is that we are creating this event and we'll give you a space. And the space was just really an add-on to what they were doing. So they said, we're having our event. Once we finished, the speaking engagements and the panel, then you have a sort of reception afterwards in the same space. So we're not, you're not paying any more money, right? All you just need to do is bring in your women and, just pay for a little bit of food. So we did that. And so I created, it was a Christmas, and I created this, I think it was a sign-on, I can't remember what it was, Eventbrite or something. And I said, if you're in Davos, women in Davos, please join us. And I sent it out. And then I got a message from the group saying that, oh, um, we tried to register, but, it's not working. And I said, it's sold out. I said, it's not possible. It went live just an hour ago, so it's not possible. I haven't advertised it. It's not possible. They said, yes. So we went back and looked, and it was fully booked within an hour. So I told the host, I said, this is what has happened. In 1 hour, it's fully booked. What do we do? They said, look, not everybody will come. Put in another set. We did that. The same thing happened. We did it the third time. The same thing happened. No exaggeration. Anybody who was there at that day, nobody on the line, but some women who are part of the group, were there on that day. You could say it was a success because there's so many people, but you could say it's a failure because, in terms of organization, because half the women who came were outside. There was no space for the women, no space. In fact, after a while, I moved outside and was with women in the bar area. So many women had turned up for this event. And this was in the Seehof, where you needed a badge. By the way, just to tell you, you needed a badge. And we had an advertiser, you needed a badge. So many women turned up. So it became clear that we needed our space. It's not that there were no other spaces for women, but nothing in the way that we were doing it in terms of a community. And so we then started our events. The first dinner that we had, which was 3 years ago, we had 25 women. We booked 25. It was overbooked, but then the next year became 50, and we were overbooked in 24 hours. So we asked the restaurant, can you add 10 more? They said yes, we were 60. Then we were overbooked. Can we add 10 more? We were 70. And that was the maximum. And people were still coming to join the dinner. This year, we were 100 and we're still overbooked. That tells us that women need to gather. We need to be together with our own. We get value from being together with our own in these spaces that are dominated by men. One lady actually sent me a message because we have a welcome dinner. And the reason why we continue that, because it sets women on the right path. We found the way they feel about things. Most women who are leaders deal in a space where it's, men and women. But we had a dinner. A lady actually sent me a message and she said, after this dinner, which is uplifting, and she went into spaces and the kinds of spaces she went into, because she's in the tech world, as you can imagine. So not to say anything too negative, but you can imagine. And it can be so demotivating. So we need something to lift us each time. And for us to remember and for us to learn from each other and for us to reflect from each other certain things. And over again, I just came from a speaking engagement. I met one of our ladies there, and a lady stopped me and she goes, "This is my first time in Davos, and I'm navigating this place, all due to this group." And what does it mean navigating the space? For me, it means that you're here with a purpose and you can achieve your purpose because it's a place where leaders are. One of our ladies, and I'm just about to burst into tears because she told me, and I just listened to it, but it didn't sink in. She just raised half of the money that she was looking for. She has raised $500,000 and she's expecting to raise the other half. And she told me that one of the spaces that 100 Women at Davos got her into, they now are displaying her stuff. Now, this is real. We need to be in places where decision makers gather, not just even for ourselves and our businesses, but also to add our voices to those global decisions that are being made. I took a couple of ladies this morning to a peace event. It was hope, peace, and justice. We had a rabbi, we had a leader from the Middle East, a Muslim, we had a leader from an old tribe in America, we had a Christian evangelist, a woman, all talking about peace. It was the most beautiful service, and I'm telling you, I cried. My eyes were just, dripping. And I thought to myself, wouldn't this be excellent on the world stage? This lady who had this event, right, by the way, was the reason why I am here today. I keep reminding her and she forgets. Because when I walked into that room of 2,500 people and no one seemed to be addressing me, she was the one who came up to me and said, "Oh, who are you? I love your hair." And just another woman doing that to you. And we have a picture, and there's another woman we met in the lounge, and three of us took that picture. And that was the beginning of 100 Women at Davos. Now we don't even count our numbers anymore. We had over 500 women who registered for our events. But the point is that anything that we can do as women working together in order to elevate other women is so important in what it is in what we do. Many of you know who've been part of us. I see Stephanie there. Last we met at COP. We were there. We had 100 women at Davos at COP. Onga, Can Lion. So we are actually beyond Davos now, all with the intention and the purpose of advancing gender equality in leadership. We don't have any other purpose than that. And what does that mean? We do that in terms of giving women a sense of belonging, but also within that group, people are interacting and doing business with each other and getting information that helps them in their business, in their lives, in anything, in every way. But also what we do is alongside the community, with our name, we work with the UN Women. We are an action commitment maker for gender, for technology and gender inclusion. We work with other organizations, many women organizations. We collaborate. And those collaborations will help us make impact bigger. They're half the world's population of women and girls, 4 billion. There isn't one organization or two or 10 or 100 that is going to do it. It's the collaboration of all of us together and also with your organization. For us, as you know, one of our pillars is entrepreneurship and innovation. So we really do appreciate what you're doing. And we know with a pie chart with 2% slither that is going to VC funds. We talk about it, but I don't think we're horrified enough. How can we represent 2% of venture capital women? How is it possible? So the road is far. There are many men, by the way, you all know, and probably even most who are supporting what we're doing, but we need to engage them more because their support is a little bit, the support it saying that, yes, we agree, but we need their action, right? But sometimes we need to explain to them what that action means. How do we get them to support us? Because we're seeing the anti-DE&I movement from the United States, and we look at trends and see what is happening. And as we have more right-wing governments in Europe, for example, we may see the pendulum swinging against, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so we need to be on our guard. We need to join forces. We need to bring in the men who are supporting us. All of us have men who are supporting us to make sure that women can contribute and can benefit because it's good for organization, society, and really everything that we represent in the world and the planet as well. So I shall leave it at that. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much for this inspirational keynote, and you captured so many of the very essence of what drives us all, I think, so many elements. Thank you so much for joining us. And as you'll hear today, we're going to try to share what each of the women leaders do in all those multiple domains that you mentioned, not only entrepreneurship, diplomacy, investments, innovation, academia, STEM fields. So I'm really excited to hear from everyone. And thank you again for making space out of your busy schedule there to join us. Thank you. You're welcome to stay, but we understand if you can't. I know you are just stepping out of another meeting.
Yes, I am. And we're going into a couple of things later, but can I just quickly say this because I can see
Please.
so many of our amazing ladies, Dr. Effie, who is there, Dr. Martha, you, of course, Dr. Ingrid, Zana, Jane Thomason, all of you, and Stephanie, just to say, look me, who I can't see. And these are all women that, we have interacted, we've met in some forum or another in real life, and just saying that, you're doing amazing things. And thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you. We appreciate you. And now we're going to hear from all of them how they contributed not only to the Davos agenda, but also the important work they're doing, as we mentioned, around the world, and how I think what you illustrated in your speech, we're trying to have a butterfly effect. Each one of us can only do a little bit, but together, like you described how you started 100 Davos Women, right? You started with a tiny room and you were alone. And I think the same way when people challenge me, why do you do another event? There are already so many events. Well, I think every tiny bit can count. And look how many beautiful friends around the world we were able to bring together today. So thank you again.
Thank you. Bye for now, ladies.
Take care. And now we have our trio from Davos joining us. First, we'll hear from Dr. Marta Böckenfeld, then from Shelley Brunswick, and then from Dr. Birgul Kotelli. Dr. Böckenfeld, the virtual floor is yours.
Sharing is so far here. So yeah, thank you for foremost for inviting us here and sharing our thoughts also for those who are not here. We feel we are all together. And as Dr. Aminu said, good news. The second good news is I came here for many years because I've been a senior financial executive. And when in my time before, similar to Aminu, years before, I felt very lonely and I felt very excluded, partially also because here were all my big bosses. I mean, I was senior executive myself, but I was listening. So I had no space. I didn't get any speaker assignment, anything. Yeah, now I'm fully booked, so that's the difference. And I think there's a lot of empowerment here for women, which makes me feel very optimistic. And I've never seen before in any years so many leaders, women leaders here, and so many women bringing other women. I think that's also the butterfly effect you mentioned. We can bring other women. It's very, very important. So we have the women in Web3, we have the women, Davos women, we have all these different communities. And as you say, you think, oh, why another community? The World Business Angel Investment Forum, Davos Women now is a new creation, which I love, because we need more support and we need to grow. And even though we are different dinner, my observation was there was was excellent with Dr. Anino and all these people. We had great uplifting speeches, but the most important was for everyone to learn. So women have an ability, which is also quite different from men. They come here to learn. So that was first and foremost goal. The second observation I have so far for the last days is a lot of talks obviously are about AI. So AI, and can you trust AI? So it has changed from, are we using AI or not, or if this is the right thing to do? It's clear, I think, for everyone now, AI is here, and it's not the future, it's just here. And the big question is only, how can we trust and how can we apply ethical principles? So yesterday I was also at a panel where we discussed the ethical principles, the regulatory, and I said, forget all the regulatory. The regulators are not fast enough. We need to focus on ethical principles and on what we want and how we are raised and how we want others to be raised and to work with AI. So that was the second one. First one, empowerment. Second one, AI. And you will love that. I had many contacts with people who were and panels who were talking about quantum. So the first time this year, also quantum is a topic, and Ingrid, myself I developed this platform, me, myself, and Deep Tech, and we have in Frontier, we have an article flow now about quantum, where everyone first talked to me and said, oh, guys, quantum, not yet there. And now here it is. So it's very clear, quantum AI escalation is also there. So deep tech is coming big time. And the third observation I would have is people also really enjoy, and that is even more, I think, escalated definitely by COVID, being together. So we have no problem here now to cuddle together. We actually like it quite a lot. And this is a nice feeling. It's not only the community, it's a feeling together. And I hope, Stephanie, you are not here and others are not here, but you feel the spirit. I post always also in the Meta Shapers, where Stephanie is part of, and they love it. So I think next year we have many more women coming, and we need more space. So Ingrid, our task will be that we find more space here, we find sponsors, and we can do more things together, and messages can travel faster. So that's my key messages from here live from Davos. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you mentioned quantum. We have the pioneer of quantum online who's going to share with us, Dr. Jane Thomason, who even has a quantum email for many years. So we're looking forward to hearing from her as well. Birgul, you're right next. Please share your observations. Speak as loud as you can, because the connection is not too strong and we can't hear you too well.
Thank you so much. We are just pulling it a little bit, actually. Well, what I have observed, I think I am going to, leverage a little bit on what Dr. Anino and Martha have already mentioned. The basic theme of this year's Davos meeting, it is about restoring the trust. And my observation is that women are contributing a lot to that. And the way I am actually resonating with those topics is that I have seen so many entrepreneur women participating, and they have been creating their small, medium enterprises, and they are maybe at the startup level at this point in time. However, this is really the biggest, I would say, economic fabric of our global economy, right? And women are contributing a lot. We have seen people presenting solutions. They are using AI, they are using Web3, they are using different technologies in training about the psychology of the people who are gaming, for example. There are people who have created these smart purses where they are training the women for increasing their financial literacy. So all that is contributing a lot. And what that is telling me basically is that we can rebuild trust with the contribution of the woman, basically, and the democratization of the use of the technology with the different areas as we mentioned, that is helping us a lot. That is my biggest observation, I would say, over the 2 days that I have seen over here. And there's also a lot of support on the part of the men who are participating. That is also very much encouraging. And that was also mentioned by Dr. Anino. I think the movement is there, and it is up to us to amplify it each and every single time that we have an event in Davos. Maybe we need to repeat our events ourselves at WBF. And it can be in Davos, it can be somewhere else. A lot needs to be done still, but we are on track. So I am very, very happy to see all that happening. So I think I'm just going to leave it here to
Thank you.
leave the stage to other contributors. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And your skills, you're a pioneer in IP law, and I think given the latest frontier technologies that are now taking center stage, we'll need skills like that, particularly in our WBF academic partnerships. As you know, we signed a very large partnership with George Washington University, and we're signing another one next week with Georgia State University. And we have many women that are eager to learn from you how to protect their IP rights, given all this scientific flurry of novel solutions. Thank you, Dr. Virgul-Kotelly. And Shelley, I know you asked Jamie Damon about SpaceX, so tell us, what did he say?
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Ingrid. It's such an honor to be joining you and the amazing women and men around the world with World Business Angels Investment Forum. I've just started and launched my own company called SB Global, and serve on your advisory board, Dr. Ingrid, for the USA Country Office. What I think is so amazing at Davos is how we're bringing in diversity of ideas, diversity of thoughts, diversity of people. And I'll kind of share a little bit of my background so the audience understands that my journey has 4 chapters. The initial one was I enlisted in the Air Force right out of high school. I didn't have money. I didn't know what I wanted to do, college degree, and then was able to apply and become an officer in the Air Force. And the Air Force made me a space acquisition program manager. That started my journey, my 25-year journey in the space industry, culminating working in the Air Force on Capitol Hill, doing policy as a legislative liaison. I then transitioned into my 3rd chapter, which was being the chief operating officer at Space Foundation. And that opened the aperture of what space is, because up until that point, I saw space as military space, launch vehicles, ground station, and satellites. But when I went to Space Foundation, I saw that the space community is a global community. It's international. It's we look at civil, we look at commercial. We can see the amazing commercial things happening. And then that has started my 4th journey, which is where I am today with as my own company and a partner with WBAF, because I think entrepreneurship in the space industry is the next big leap for all of us. And I've been speaking on several panels here at Davos to highlight how space, innovation, entrepreneurship is part of the solution. It's part of the solution for space and sustainability and solving our greatest challenges on Earth. It's part of the solution for diversity and inclusion. When we think about the space race, we think back 60 years ago to 2 countries in a space race to put a man on the moon and safely return him to Earth. That was primarily a government workforce, STEM professionals, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and it was primarily male. Today, that space industry is more than 90 countries operating in space. Multi-generational, multi-gender, multi-career fields and backgrounds. We certainly need STEM professionals, but as you've seen from the entrepreneurs, and that is a great intersection with WBAF, as well as what we're doing here at Davos. So I'm so excited to be an advocate for the global space community and for WBAF. And I want to thank you again, Dr. Ingrid, and the amazing people who are joining us for giving me this opportunity to join you live from Davos.
Thank you, Shelley. Appreciate your contributions. and all of your efforts throughout the year for WBF. You are one of our most prolific social media champions. Thank you. So now, please.
You know, I
allow
think
me
it's so
to-
important.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Ingrid, I'm writing a book on lessons learned, and part of that is interviewing more than 100 leaders from around the world. Because if we want more diversity in AI, in technology, in the space industry, we have to create role models. So I want to interview each and every one of you because you are a role model so that we can bring more people into technology, into investment, and into entrepreneurship. So thank you, Dr. Ingrid, for your leadership.
Thank you. Well, you have the perfect book chapters in this meeting. Every single one of the women here is a perfect chapter. So great. Thank you so much. And now we're going to hear from Zeina, who's also live in Davos. Please, the floor is yours. Zeina, can you hear us?
Okay.
Zeina? No, we can't yet. Not yet. Okay, now go ahead. The floor is yours. Yes.
Is it better?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, hello from Davos. I have been in San Francisco approximately 2 years ago with my executive MBA school, and I can really truly say that my life since then has changed. What I learned while I was there and while we were kind of visiting the companies and being introduced to venture capitalists and other investors, that only 2 to 3% of the investment goes to female startups and entrepreneurs, which really clashed with our sort of MBA program, which was encouraging us to do our own business, to be our own entrepreneurs. And it was almost a little bit heartbreaking, thinking, oh, if I want to do something and if I want to create more opportunities and jobs, I might not be supported. So when I was approached to join WBAF, I thought, oh my God, but this is a really great community where I can not only be supported, but also bring the value. So the journey has started. And as one thing leads into another, I actually visited Davos last year. And first thing that I have noticed is how everyone is very, very friendly, approachable. But then the second thing I have noticed, I could hardly see any women. I'm a member of Women on Boards, Women in Tech, angel investors, female startups, and I could hardly really see any women. It was a little bit sad, to be honest. So I tried to promote Davos because I had an amazing experience. I come originally from a corporate world, and I reached the glass ceiling so many times. And when I became an advisory and mentor, a mentor and a coach to other female startups, I actually realized that it's not only me, that women usually in the corporate world reach glass ceiling. And what they do then they look for a new job, thinking, okay, another employer will appreciate me, will grow me, and will give me another promotion and chance. Just doesn't happen. So what do you do again? You then try again and again, because we are strong, we are ambitious, we don't want to kind of put down ourselves to the challenges. So eventually we quit and we become an entrepreneurs. And what's happening then? Majority of the investors are men. They don't really understand us. They don't want to give us a chance. So with all these events happening in the last 2 years, the world is spreading. There is more women this year in Davos. It's an amazing event, not only because of the lot of communities in one place, but it's also an event where if you think about it, you stay for a whole week or at approximately at least 2 to 3 days. What that means that you bump into certain people over and over again. And this is where the connection is actually happening. And it's an amazing, because usually when you attend a 1 or 2 days event, it's not the same. It's a lot of people. You can't really manage to speak to everyone. So this is a unique opportunity. Last year, for example, I met quite a few people from New York. A month ago, I was in New York as an AI speaker. I called up on those connections and we met, and it was another amazing experience. So what I'm trying to say, we don't need to be on our own. We can support each other, and not just by sharing experiences, but also sharing information. So on that note, if you don't mind, I will give you a couple of stats that, for example, in the UK, which is quite an advanced country, and I represent UK as the in WBAF community, only 18% of the women are thinking of starting the business, compared to double of the men. And last year, for example, in Davos, the theme was a lot about ESG. This time is about technology. I have started my female-led tech consultancy, and all the technologies that we are looking into, that we are learning about, is now present in Davos. Also, one of the countries that is quite has got quite a big presence in our long high street, which they call Promenade here, is actually India. One of our teams that is working with Emeris Consulting is actually based in India, that we are working closely in AI, IoT, and digital twins. And it's very interesting that actually India as a country has got only 14% of entrepreneurs women in the pool of 58.5 million small businesses. So by 2030, there is an opportunity of growing to 150 to 170 million jobs if this awareness and support grows. And as we know in the climate, where big companies are actually making a lot of redundancies, the small, medium businesses anywhere in the world are a big, powerful force that I hope will open more and more doors for female startups and founders. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your insights live from Davos. We totally relate to a lot of the things you mentioned as well. And now I would like to give the floor to Antonia Durish, who represents yet another facet, politics, which is so important. And then right after Antonia, we will hear from Dr. Dominique Delporte, who's going to talk a little bit also about our mission at G100. So Antonia, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. I just realized that I have issues with the camera. May I have 5 more minutes, please?
Sure, no problem. So Dr. Dominique, you can go first, please, if you're ready.
Okay, thank you, Ingrid. Good afternoon, good morning, ladies. I could not be present this time in Davos, although for me it's a long-lasting relationship already. I started an atypical career 3 decades ago, which was in corporate as a corporate executive, where I started already bridging the commercial and I would say the back office ICT side. And from there, I pursued my career as an academic, and I ended it, or I'm still there, as a venture capitalist in smart tech and food technology ventures. And now stepping up to, I would say, listed companies as board director, non-executive board director. So I have been through, I would say, a very challenging career. And I think I'm best placed to help other women understand what it takes to not only enter, but also remain and lead and thrive in, I would say, the digital space. So first I want to address what exactly is the G100. The G100 is a not-for-profit organization. It is a collective of 100 global women leaders who are committed to the same goal, which is the progressive and inclusive advancements of women worldwide. So our overarching mission is to provide leadership in inclusivity, safety, and the economic and social empowerment of women, with the aim of achieving gender parity within these decades. And the Women Economic Forum is comparable to a Davos setting in that sense that it is the largest global gathering of female leaders, ministers, and eminent representatives worldwide, where we discuss our progress towards the goals. Now, there are 100 wings, and each wing can define its own vision statement in addition to the overall G100 vision and mission. And the idea is that within each wing, we can help another 100 women to empower and create visibility in order to drive forward our mission, create the ripple effect, and start helping in moving the needle in the direction that we want. So a year ago, I was honored with the role of the Global Chair, Humanity, Technology and Innovation. And that was due to the concern that we saw a strong gender imbalance in the digital world. And as the digital revolution is reshaping every facet of our lives, from the way we work and communicate, on how we access information and innovate, we are limiting our collective programs by excluding a significant portion of our population, half of the world population. Can you imagine? Studies consistently show that diverse teams outperform homogeneous ones. So we have to bring together individuals with a varied perspective, experience, skills, in order to foster innovation and develop more robust solutions. And in the digital space, which is in constant need for innovation, we drive on diversity of thought. So by overlooking the potential contribution of women, we are leaving untapped reservoirs of talent that could drive breakthroughs in technology, businesses, and beyond. Moreover, promoting gender or general diversity and inclusivity in the digital space is not just about fairness. It is about economic growth and sustainability, because closing the gender gap in the workforce could add trillions to the global GDP. And as we navigate the complexities of the fourth industrial revolution, it is imperative that we harness the full potential of our global talent pool. And that means ensuring greater inclusivity of women in the rapidly evolving digital landscape. So our WING's mission is a very ambitious one. We want to reduce the gender digital divide by at least 25% by the year 2030. And to achieve that, we have proposed two avenues. The first avenue is to drive the SDG 5 policy for making further by identifying the challenges and removing the barriers so that more women enter, remain, thrive, and lead in the digital space. And the second avenue is to empower new female leaders to take up responsibilities in the interdisciplinary domains of the emerging technologies, because they will have to help shape a future where technology enhances the human condition and ensures the health of the planet. So I think that we have seen all the numbers and the challenges of the gender equal divide. I just mentioned quickly a few of them, which is lack of representation, lack of role models and mentorship, the slower career track due to the systemic biases and stereotypes, the gender pay gap, I would say the lack of ownership and sponsorship of inventions by female inventors, combined with the VC gap, which is the lack to the access of knowledge and capital for women. And then, of course, there is the C-suite and board seat gap, which is one of my personal goals to continue closing that gap. We are very happy that now, after 16 years after my first research on that chapter, we have now the guidelines put in place in Europe. I hope that we can learn from each other and that this cross-fertilization can be spread towards all the continents. So to overcome these barriers, we have been developing with already 15 new country chairs the policies for the future in how we will, through organizing of events, participating and increasing visibility in Davos, but also throughout the world, where we can spread the message and generate the ripple effect. We have to have more women at the relevant decision-making tables in order to make that happen. So female gatherings, okay, we have to help each other, we have to collaborate, we have to make women physically safe when start to learning, because this is all about learning and getting adopted and adapted to, I would say, the male world. So we have to do that, but we cannot do it only by gathering women. We really have to integrate and infiltrate, so to speak, in all the I would say relevant decision-making units. So the second area of the second avenue of my program is that the one, it was already mentioned, we will have to collaborate and bring in not only technical, but ethical, ecological, legal, and political powder to make this work. And also the adoptance of the what I call the fair tech governance principles should be integrated and embedded everywhere. So you will see.
Professor Dominique, sorry to interrupt. We have a few people that need to drop off. So if we can wrap up, and then I can give them the floor because they need to join another meeting. Good?
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
You will see for the people who follow me on LinkedIn that I am a strong advocate for adding the T of technology to the ESG governance, because in the past, technology was just enabling ESG, and now it becomes the main driver of future growth. So now coming to the, I would say, the synergy with the World Business Angel Investment Forum, it comes back to, I would say, the two pressing challenges of the time that were already discussed at Davos, which is the two disparities that threatens the largest segments of the people and leaving them behind, which is the digital divide, but also the financial divide. And both are intertwined, and both are the common ground of the two organizations that I just mentioned, because as the world becomes increasingly reliant on digital financial services, those who are excluded from, I would say, the access to the digital world are also excluded from the financial system. So the synergy for me with the World Business Angel Investment Forum lies in pushing policy recommendations to the G100, in creating the supportive infrastructure for women entrepreneurs to start up their digital business, getting it financed and scaled up internationally, in creating global visibility for female investors and entrepreneurs, in promoting safe intellectual property rights, and facilitating understanding of emergent technology and fair tech use by enhancing programs on digital and financial literacy, by creating the infrastructure and outrolling the infrastructures in those parts of the world who have not this easy access to the digital world. For me, digital access becomes more and more, I would say, a common human right. And we have to make sure that we can include all women in the emerging technologies. And that also needs, I would say, an extra drive to invite women to conferences, organize events, make them, familiarize them with the upcoming technologies, even when it's not their first domain of interest, so to speak. So I plead really for a call of action and a collaboration in order to help us move the needle in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We're running a little behind schedule, so I know Effie, you need to step out, and Stephanie to another meeting. Maybe share with us briefly, 2 minutes, Turbo, your insights. I know Effie, you posted an intriguing message this morning on LinkedIn, so please share with our audience your observations in Davos, live, boots on the ground.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. There's a lot of energy, high energy here. I'd like also to add what was previously said. I see clearly an increased presence, especially of India as a country here. And I had the privilege to be on a panel with the economic advisor of President Modi, talking about the DPI, the digital public infrastructure that has been developed in India for payments and digital identity. And one of the things that I learned from him is that India, the country, has already developed a digital twin of the entire country with a resolution up to 1 centimeter, something that was not yet publicly known. And in general, we need to keep India on the radar screen. In a way, it's a great force in this very polarized world. I also wanted to convey to you my sentiment from Davos. I've been coming here since 2017. I always see some presence of spiritual leaders that is increasing, and it is sort of blurring or fusing with women leadership, with sustainability goals. That is a great thing. I think I'm seeing more business philosophers being together on panels and on events with hardcore scientists, physicists, data scientists, and wild innovators, eccentric innovators. I love that type of combination because they all come from a different angle. And I will stop at that. I mean, I'm trying to share on LinkedIn, and I invite you to follow some of these distilled, if you want, insights that I get from participating in events as an audience, as a panelist, as a moderator, as a speaker, and bringing it to you. And I'll be writing about the takeaways next week. One thought I want to leave you with is that we really don't need any more advanced or new technology to solve and meet the 17 SDG goals. I think that we should adopt that as a mantra, as a tagline, and remind everybody we really have everything in a way. We have to make the decision to solve and meet the goals. We don't need AGI. We don't need anything more. And I'll leave you at that.
Thank you so much for joining us. We
having
really appreciate it. Thank you. And we hope you can join WBAF this year. We invite you to join us in our mission. Thank you. And then Stephanie, you're a WBAF member. Please share your latest efforts. And I know you have to quickly step off as well. So go ahead.
Yeah, but first of all, thank you, Effie, for the transition. So I'm not in Davos this year for a family reason, but what I can just say is I will be back next year, that's for sure. And just based on what Effie just mentioned, I think that more than ever, we need to take action and leverage technology, business, HR, upskilling people, leveraging finance, to reach a real impact within our organization, within our funds. It's really important now that instead of, going for the next technology or expecting to have more fundings, to make a step every year. And that's the reason why we are moving forward very quickly with WeImpact.world, the organization that I founded 3 years ago, that emphasized the fact that, first of all, what matters is how people embrace change, how we take action within, our own level, and how every organization should address, this revolution, leveraging every single component, not by silos, but breaking down those silos and connecting the dots. So for me, next year, what would be very important is beyond knowledge, beyond connection, is emphasize, how some organizations are really making an impact, empowering their people. And it's not only employees, but as well building ecosystem, empowering and supporting, their supplier, shifting their business model, building skill-based organization. And this is what we do. We are an impact ecosystem architect, and we are launching this year in different emerging economies, because what we want to address as well is for many Western organization, Western countries, the technology will come only, from the Western. And what we emphasize is emerging economies. I'm based in the Middle East, and I'm traveling a lot in Bangladesh, in India, in Africa, and they have this ability to develop very smart, agile, and resilient system innovation that benefits to all our world and our organization. So the idea is to create bridges, not only between the Western world and the emerging markets, but also between all of us. That's the purpose of We Impact, because we create squad team that really take action in a very efficient, pragmatic way. And the idea is not to keep thinking. It's just learning by doing. It will be a long journey, and this is what matters today. So next year, let's join forces. Let's work together. I will reach some of you guys, because I'm working with right now some European automotive brands that are just discovering how crazy advanced electric Chinese vehicle have been developed, leveraging sustainability, technology, reinventing business model, building community. I'm also working with the European Commission about the digital product passports to reinvent fashion industry, which is, the second most polluting industry. So there is a lot, and the only way to make it happen is to leverage. We're talking about space technology before. We have to leverage everything. It's not, just Web3, just, metaverse. It's a mix depending of, how we can solve, real, problem that matters. So I won't be longer, but thanks for what you do, Ingrid. It's really, critical right now. And this kind of meeting is just amazing, because it enables us to emphasize what are the critical challenges that we are all working on, and see how we can support each other. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And now we have Antonia Durish, who is one of our heroes in politics. She was supposed to have the keynote earlier, but had no video. So hopefully now you can share your updates live from Davos. Go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ingrid. I'll quickly get out because I'm right now at an investors event from the WebEx panel. All right. So currently we have shared many, I would say, Indian topics, Saudi Arabian topics, as well as, of course, how to create impact. And what I love most about World Economic Forum and WBAF is that we actually have similar, how shall I say, callings. So WASWEF has in the I shape values the I, right? We at WBAF also have the I for inclusion. So what I love is to connect those two paths. And to be honest, I really believe that we still have to do more for inclusion. I'm talking not only about financial inclusion, but I'm also talking about inclusion when it comes to gender equality, right? So this week I had like 2 panel talks, and one panel talk was for the Indian government, and we were talking about cashless catalysts, and how India is developing and all those countries are developing. And basically what I have learned is that, with 1.4 billion people who live there, we still have so much to do to kind of include people. And that's actually what we then also did. So basically in the past, let's say, 7 days, we were raising $50 to $100 million so that we can create an ecosystem in Web4. So you are the first ones who learned that. We have developed Web4 with some partners. Together, we create this kind of ecosystem which supports women all around the world with giving them financial support, of course. And that's actually also why I invite you, business angel investors, to be part of this and to create together, impact around the world and to scale this project on a global scale so that we can kind of create within the next, I would say, year or two, scalable and a good institution where we support women around the world. Because yesterday we had a talk at MIT, people were presenting their projects, and of course, out of 8 people, we had only 1 woman present. So we have to do something. We have to encourage women to become leaders. And that's it, Ingrid. I don't want to take any more time, but I will be
No, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for all you do at WBF as well. We'll need your help a lot this year for all our initiatives.
Thank you. Have a nice one. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Rita, I know you have to drop too, but maybe 2 minutes sharing the important work you do around the world.
Great, thank you so much, and I'll be very, very brief. So thank you for having me and hosting this amazing opportunity. I just wanted to share, so I actually just came back from a trip to India, and specifically was focused in Assam and the Northeast region. So what I do for work, I come from a finance background. I spent 10 years in investment banking, healthcare, started my own company about 7.5 years ago, really to empower youth, women and children from underprivileged backgrounds. So that's now been continued with the opening of a formal philanthropic arm. And we're trying to address the UN Sustainable Development Goals, namely goal number 4, quality education, 5, gender equality, the workplace 8, and using partnerships, goal number 17. So using all of these, you know, I took myself, it was part of a family trip, but I carved some time out to speak to some educational institutes across the Northeast region of India. And in 3 days, we managed to sign 4 MOUs with colleges and universities in the Northeast region, which is unheard of over there. Everything technically happens really slowly and it can take years. But we managed to get this done, had meeting with the education minister that represents the state of Assam as well. I had pending meetings with the government as well, specifically to develop leadership and internationalization skills for the further development of the youth and the women, particularly in the region. And what we're trying to do there is where we have historically a concept of brain drain, where you have so many talented people, typically from developing countries, they go overseas, they get trained, and then you lose them to these countries. What we're trying to do is the reverse of that. So we're trying to train them, develop them, have partnerships with educational institutes around the world in different places, to go back with joint sort of forums, think tanks with the new folks that they've met in overseas to really develop and take forward the amazing infrastructure back in Assam and the Northeast. I spent a lot of time with entrepreneurs over there. One of the leading places in India right now for entrepreneurship is actually Assam and the Northeast. They have raw materials, textiles over there. However, because of connectivity, because of just broadband issues and just payment issues and the gateway where they're located, it's very difficult for them to kind of come out. So working with them right now, would love to get help, advice from so many of you amazing folks on this call today. So I wonder if we can be connected afterwards, Ingrid. But that's really where I am. I know I've only got 2 minutes, so I'm going to stop there. But food for thought, let's connect afterwards. I'd love to take this further. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You should connect with Dr. Sindhu, who has a program with 21 universities, and hopefully they complement yours. So that's great. So now real quick, we're very late in terms of timing, but I want to make sure we can accommodate everyone. Again, Dr. Thomason, please, the floor is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. And I'm also in Davos, but I won't tell you about Davos because you've heard some amazing things from all of these extraordinary women. I just wanted to say I was going through everyone's LinkedIn bios as people were speaking, and just this group who are on the call have more than 600,000 reach of followers in LinkedIn, and that's not including any other social media. So we have voice, and I think that's really important. And just listening to you all is absolutely inspiring to me. So briefly, my focus at the moment is on metaverse and Web3 education, and also in getting more women involved in technology and in startups. And I've had some wonderful discussions with Dr. Ingrid. I'm involved in a decentralized Web3 investor community and bringing what I'm learning from that together with our mutual interest in deep tech. We're planning to have a deep tech women's investment network. The topics are open, but in my heart, we have VRAR, Metaverse, Web3, Quantum AI, and Biotech. And I'm having discussions next week about a Deep Tech Metaverse Academy that can be attached to this. So we'd love everyone to be involved. Hopefully we will create the network first, and we have the technology to do that. The network will be investors, and we'll create a fund, and we'll get all of these wonderful young girls and women with their startups in deep tech. So watch this space. Dr. Ingrid and I are going to have more news for you on that. And Dr. Ingrid, thank you so much for your amazing work, just powering on, connecting communities and driving this agenda forward. Thank you, everyone, and I look forward to working with you.
Thank you. I had you as my inspiration. You're the super connector for all of us. Thank you. And I wanted to also give the floor to the two men that are with us today that have not only supporting us, but also championing a lot of programs for women. So David and then Sindhu, please share what you're doing for women leaders, women on boards, women entrepreneurs, women executives, and women innovators, please.
Ingrid, nice to see you, and thanks for the invitation. It's been fun to listen here in these last 10, 15 minutes, and to see some familiar faces too. Mary and Dominique, nice to see you. I run an organization. We're a nonprofit based in the US, but we're a global organization that's a peer collaboration among board members and C-suite executives. And our avenue is to look at how organizations at the top govern their risk-taking. In other words, how do we take risk well to fulfill whatever the objectives are of our organization? In that mission, we also have goals of helping underrepresented groups serve on boards of directors and in the C-suite, and also working in developing markets. So we have a very extensive program that brings our products, our programs into these developing markets at local prices so that they're affordable. We partner with groups all around the world, particularly as what might be interest to you, women's groups that help advocate for women. We have a partnership with a group called the Boardroom Africa, which helps women serve on boards all across the continent, and women from Africa serve on boards outside of the continent. We have a partnership with a group in Brazil that's advancing women on boards there. We work with a group called Women Execs on Boards, which are all graduates, or we're all graduates of Harvard's program on women for boards. We have informal arrangements with probably a half a dozen other groups that advocate women serving on boards. So in our programs, which are credentialing programs that help train people, but also differentiate them as they try to get these board positions, roughly 70% of the graduates in our cyber risk credential are women. About 53%, I think right now, of graduates of our certificate in risk governance program are women. About 55% of people who hold our qualified risk director designation are women. Our faculty is roughly split 50-50 men and women. And we have people in our programs, I think right now, from around 115 countries, and about graduates serving on boards in about 45 different countries. So we partner with different groups all around the world. We work with individuals, boards, large organizations. Ingrid invited me to be part of the WBAF advisory board in the US. And so I'm always pleased to work with her. As you guys know, she's probably 6 people in one. And we're happy to work with anyone who's trying to advocate for better organizations, run better, more inclusively. And I think Dominique had started to mention, or someone had started to mention, about seeing more interesting people, philosophy, scientists talking about this issue. One of the things that when anyone ever pushes back to me on diversity issues about the board is that there's actually neuroscience evidence for how groups make better decisions when you have diversity. And one of the areas of diversity that we look at is diversity of risk personality. So there's a lot more I can tell you about. I'll try to reach out to you guys on LinkedIn. Ingrid hopefully will connect us all. But I would love to get to know you through here, through WBAF, whatever it is. But I hope that's helpful, Ingrid.
Thank you, and I invite everyone. I will share DCRO website, but also all the amazing programs that you have, certification programs. So I think those are essential for women, because as we know, just networking is not enough. You need to also have the certifications if you want to be on boards, and we know many of you are still not only on boards, but I have colleagues that wish to be on board. So David's institution is amazing. I happen to be part of some of the programs, and I can tell you firsthand, it's the highest quality possible. Thank you, David, for what you're doing for us and truly championing, not just supporting, which was mentioned before you joined, that sometimes we have people just not blocking you, but you are actually champion women on boards and championing women leaders. Thank you.
Ingrid, can I just mention two things really quickly? Dominique,
please.
Dominique, we announced today, earned one of our credentials, so congratulations, Dominique. And then this is one I think we're particularly proud of. At the end of this month, the New York Stock Exchange invited us to come and run a program with them, but it's a program that's sponsored by the CEOs of NYSE listed companies specifically to help women and underrepresented groups get on boards. So we are the entity they're working with in this case to help that group of people who've been identified by the New York Stock Exchange who could serve on listed company boards. And that'll be in about 2 weeks. So we're really excited about that.
Thank you again. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining, although we were running late. Appreciate you waiting. Thank you. Dr. Sindhu, you are also doing about 100 things. And out of those 100 things around the globe, you're also one of our big supporters, not only at WBAF, at Women Economic Forum, at G100, at pretty much everything that we're all involved in. You are a big supporter, and we appreciate everything you do. So the floor is yours to also share your message of support for WBF today. You're on mute for some reason. We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
It might be his computer.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Yeah, we
now,
hear you.
yes, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Thank you once again for inviting me and giving such nice words for me. I'm basically an action man, and I keep trying to do whatever you people are theorizing and giving it to us. So I have 4 verticals, basically banking, healthcare, agri-tech, and education. And in most of the verticals, I'm using women power to the most, because being a man also, I trust women more than my instincts to drive things to their destination and to their conclusion. So now next month I'm launching a banking which is focused towards women entrepreneurs, women farmers, women students. So that's the target group which I'm targeting in the next month. It is getting launched in India, because first was for migrant labor communities from rural areas to urban areas who shift to earn their livelihood. So that is how I'm graduating. In my agri-tech also, I'm focusing more on women and how they try to create the livelihood in their rural homes, and how they try to create the capital for the rural family. So those are the things which I'm progressing and promoting, and I'm trying to create a rural exchange for them, so that whatever capital they are creating, that can be rotated and circulated within that rural economic system to create an independent rural economic model, rather than being dependent on urban industrial economy and stock exchange industrial economy, basically. And the third is healthcare, because men somehow they can manage to get hold of some treatment, some medical support here and there, because they can travel, they can move, but women have so many hurdles in rural areas, they cannot move out. So we have created our own healthcare kiosks, which is patented now, and we are taking it to different rural areas. And we are not sticking only in India. We are in India, we are in Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia. And when I created all those things, I realized that there is still a cultural block in mind of people. They don't want to adopt and adapt technologies. So I created my EdTech platform. Now we are in, we have 30 global chapters, and we are creating centers of excellence in different universities in India and promoting them to make rural students come to their centers as student exchange program. And by the way, now one of the US organizations is signing agreement with me, where their 30 of their colleges will be sending students to India, to our faculty, for interaction with our new technology and new system that we are developing, and all the system that we have created. So I think I am on for all your enterprise and whatever you want to do, I'm always there, and you can count on me, and we can work together for any of your projects. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it very much. And we're looking forward to amazing collaborations this year. Thank you. And quick, I know, Virginie, you have to leave as well, but if you can share briefly your important work, and then we are going to conclude with Mary, who's going to bring us all together, who was also my co-host today. And she's going to share what we're doing to create a future for women and have our own women's city. So stay tuned. Virginie and then Mary.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you, everyone, for being here and for raising interesting questions. So my name is Virginia. I am an international and human rights lawyer and consultant with 15 years experience working for the international public sector, private companies, and NGOs, focusing mainly on SDG 16, which is global peace and conflicts, human rights, and the rule of law. My two driving force for my fight over the last 17 years have been leaving no one behind, the most vulnerable, diversity and inclusion, and the common good in general. And for the last 7 years, I have used all my experience to work, advise at a strategic level for board members, but also for companies, NGOs, and international organizations on the role of technologies to improve impact towards the SDGs, but also the risks, the threats of, on human rights and the most vulnerable, and really providing advice on ethical, responsible, trustworthy AI. What does it mean? Who does it impact? What can we do better? And really help and support programs, organizations to understand it better and to have a very 360 view of the issues. And that's in a nutshell what I do and what I offer. And in terms of diversity and women coming from an interfaith and multicultural background, for me, it was not an option. And I would say that gender was not top of my list because you have so many other issues that you face when you are raised in an intersectoral family where so many issues come into place. But I do believe that we need women and men to work together to build the new generation and to face the extreme challenges and opportunities of AI. And I wish for my children to have a more diverse and beautiful world as I knew it before. And so I'm happy to contribute to the conversation, to work with you and to support you in any way I can, if I can. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. And thanks again for your contribution on the book that we wrote for women empowerment, where Shelley was also a part of that. And we're hoping to have a next volume, hopefully next year when I recuperate from the 4 books marathon last year. Thank you
One of
again.
the editors is here, so you can always take me.
Yes, you and Shelley were also part of that. Thank you so much to all of you. And now, Mary, please share your vision for for Hera Light and describe a little bit what you're doing also with Hera Media to support women leadership around the world.
Thank you, Ingrid. I really appreciate being here. So I'm Mary Pagano, and I'm from Miami in the United States. I'm a U.S. Senator for WBAF, and I wear many hats. So I have been in tech for 30 plus years. Was a VP at AT&T, Motorola, and GE. So a lot of my our team projects are in the MIT case curriculum. So you can learn about our past. But anyway, now I'm very much about female empowerment, humanity, and the planet. So today I'm a board advisor for a nonprofit called Hera the Light of Women at heracity.org. Hera is a bold project for the future of humanity and the planet. Let me give you a 2-minute overview. As many of you know, our world today is not balanced. While women have made significant progress in society, gender equality, diversity, and inclusion still remain a challenge. And I had the 10,000 razor blade cuts, probably more like 1 million. One of Hera's goals is dedicated to promoting this fundamental right. Our challenges today are many, and we want to address all the UN SDG goals. Today, women are 51% of the global population and underrepresented in leadership and decision-making happening all around the globe. When I was in tech for 30 years, there were many times I was the only woman in the room. And it's still happening today. As you know, women birthed everyone onto the planet. We fed, we educated them, took care of their family and parents, and in many cases worked 2 or 3 jobs due to income inequities. and many times when government or companies don't address social problems, women historically step up to create a nonprofit to address the problems in society today. Women's emotional intelligence, EQ leadership skills, is terribly needed on this planet more than ever. If we are going to improve humanity in the planet, we need everyone at the table, not just the 50%. HERA has board advisors and ambassadors all over the globe doing amazing projects to positively impact humanity and the planet. And some of them are WBAF leaders. For example, we have a woman who is rescuing and rehabilitating women and children from human trafficking. You might have seen some of her work in the Sound of Freedom film. HERA strives to empower women through education, social justice projects, networking events, workshops, funding impact projects, and creative endeavors to bring enlightened individuals to foster a more equitable and inclusive world. Our goal is to proactively shape a healthy future for current and future generations. HERA's major project, which Ingrid had made reference to, is that we are building a smart green city for the future of humanity, for all genders, all nationalities, and all religions, and in honor of women around the globe. So this is not a city just for women. This is a city for everyone. HERA will be a big visit card for the world. The Moroccan government has reserved 25,000 acres of land in the Galmine region. It's the southern Atlantic coast. And we have an MOU from a developer to build out HERA City. The region is designated as a major green zone for Africa, so sustainability is critical, as well as using new innovative technology responsibly and ethically, which Ingrid is a champion for us, right? In addition to support HERA, I'm CEO of HERA Media Group. HERA Media Group is a production company focused to support HERA, and also our focus is on film, TV, special events, content streaming of global change makers and innovators. To date, we have over 7,000 hours of conversation and interviews of global change makers doing great work for humanity and the planet. I'll give you an example. 2 little girls, the age of 17, one from Colorado, one from Uganda, and they built remote schools for girls in Uganda. Those are the stories that we are telling. We also have a major film franchise to support HERA City culture that will hopefully change the hearts and minds of people in all walks of life. Our focus is to educate on HERA City, as well as educate people around the globe to create sustainable ways of living, working, and creating inspiring content to change up the media space in the world. And I'll give you an example. We have a little boy in a refugee camp in Kenya who is teaching the children how to work on computers and do filming. That's just one example. We also have enough land to build HERA City Studios, which will be a Hollywood, Bollywood, Pinewood type facility to create healthy, inspiring content for the world, to offset the fear-mongering and destructive type media we see today, as well as provide sustainable income for artists and creatives and not just elites. Thank you, Ingrid. I really appreciate this time today.
Thank you for what you do, and I can't wait to set the first step in that city. Hopefully we get to see that. Thank you.
Hopefully it's this year. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And now just to conclude, I will share a brief support message from Lucy Chow, who, as you know, is the Secretary General of WBAF's Global Women Leaders Committee. Just one tiny second, please allow me to share her video that she sent in support, because also she was, like me, supposed to attend Davos, but something came up in the family and she couldn't. So after I play the video, we will conclude the meeting. And once again, thank you all for this amazing marathon of valuable insights and opinions.
The WBAF Global Women Leaders Committee leverages our unique access to the world's most influential women leaders, policymakers, entrepreneurs, and artists, uniting these global forces to harness their collective knowledge address today's critical issues, and to generate innovative solutions to empower the world economy. The World Economic Forum's program this year revolves around themes that clearly resonates with my committee. One in particular, creating jobs and growth for a new era where we are asked to reimagine economic frameworks to foster job creation and to emphasize people-centric approaches aligns with our work to specifically support female entrepreneurs. One way to achieve gender equality and empower women and girls is to support female-led businesses. Female-founded businesses makes good economic sense as these companies generate wider economic, social, and environmental benefits. And we are all aware that support for female-led businesses can contribute to raising female labor force participation. This crosses over into another theme, that of how to bring about a nature-positive world by 2050. Accelerating opportunities for women climate entrepreneurs is key. The development of innovative solutions that enhance access to sustainable energy and creation of new resource-efficient circular economies by women are taking place now, today. One focus of my committee is advocating and channeling more funding to be directed to female-led businesses globally. Women founders are progressively working towards creating sustainable and scalable solutions for climate change, and with the necessary funding in order to scale, these ventures will in turn open new avenues of work for women across the value chain. I would be remiss if I didn't touch on inclusive AI systems. I was excited to hear about the creation of a new working group focused on AI for social innovation, and that it was initiated by the World Economic Forum's Global Alliance for Social Entrepreneurship. Again, female founders can and do play a key role as they have the power to shape this transformative technology so it operates responsibly and benefits everyone. I'm honored to be part of the WBAF's Women Investors and Entrepreneurs meeting here at Davos. With such an amazing gathering of women leaders from around the world, it is contingent on us to continue to highlight the real value of women as inventors, experts, and leaders. Celebrate women's achievements, amplify the successes of women, elevate women into positions of decision-making. We should use our power and our social capital to contribute to all sectors of society. Let's continue to cross international borders to work collaboratively. Thank you.